A weary mechanic mended a broken android for a small alien child. Never knowing her mother, the Empress of 1,000 stars, was watching in silence. The outer rim station of Drellis. 9 was a place where dreams came to die. Rust ate the walls, air recyclers groaned like dying beasts, and the endless hum of passing freighters was the only heartbeat the station had left. In one of its dimmest corners, tucked between a shuttered cantina and a pawn shop selling outdated blasters, was a mechanic's workshop that barely deserved the name. Inside, Jonas Valen worked with the patience of a man who had seen too much and expected too little. Once, long ago, he had been more than a station-side mechanic. Once, he had been an engineer aboard starliners, a designer of drives that leapt between stars. But war had stolen that future. War always did. Now, he patched air vents for miners, welded hulls for smugglers, and fixed battered machines for anyone with a handful of credits. He asked no questions. He wanted no trouble. That night, the trouble walked in on tiny feet. The beginning. The bell over the door barely worked, giving a half-hearted chime as a small figure slipped inside. Jonas looked up, expecting another miner, but blinked when he saw her. The child could not have been more than 8 years old. Her skin shimmered faintly blue, her eyes too large for her delicate face. She clutched something in her arms, something metallic, broken, sparking. "Can you fix it?" she asked, voice trembling. Jonas wiped grease from his hands and approached slowly. "Let's see." She held out the machine. It was an android, but unlike any he had seen. Small, child-sized, with delicate features and fluid joints. One arm hung loose, its circuitry exposed, its photoreceptors dim. Whoever built it had known artistry as well as science. Jonas frowned. "This isn't standard make. Where'd you get it?" The girl hugged the android protectively. "She's mine. She's my friend. Please, she won't wake up." Something in her voice, in the way she clung to the machine, tugged at the walls Jonas had built around himself. He sighed. "All right, I'll take a look." Her eyes lit with hope. Jonas placed the android on his work table, tools clattering as he examined the damage. The internal circuits were fried, the core memory destabilized. Most mechanics wouldn't bother trying. But Jonas wasn't most mechanics. As he worked, the girl stood nearby, watching every motion. "Will she be okay?" Jonas smirked faintly. "She's stubborn. Reminds me of someone. I'll do what I can." He didn't notice the faint shimmer in the air above them, the nearly invisible drones hovering like shadows, transmitting every moment across light years. Somewhere far beyond, a throne room of crystal and fire, a woman with eyes like burning suns leaned forward, watching in silence. The middle. Hours passed. Jonas lost himself in the work. He rebuilt scorched wiring, stabilized the processor, and realigned the photoreceptor core. His hands, though scarred and weary, moved with the grace of old skill not yet forgotten. The girl dozed in a chair, clutching her knees, until a soft chime filled the workshop. The android's eyes flickered, glowing pale blue. Its head tilted, focusing on its small owner. "Lyra," the android said, voice weak but warm. "I am operational." The girl, Lyra, leapt forward with a cry of joy. She hugged the android, tears streaking her cheeks. "You came back." Jonas leaned back, a rare smile tugging at his lips. "Told you she was stubborn." The android turned its gaze to him, studying. "You art skilled." Gratitude acknowledged. Jonas waved it off. "Just doing my job." But Lyra shook her head. "No." Nobody else would help. Everyone else said she was broken forever. "You fixed her." There was a softness in her words that Jonas hadn't heard in years. Something like trust. Something like faith. He coughed, uncomfortable, and looked away. She'll still need time. Her systems aren't fully stable. Keep her out of trouble, you hear? Lyra giggled. I'll try, but she always gets into trouble. Jonas chuckled despite himself. For the first time in a long time, the weight on his shoulders felt lighter. And still, above, unseen, the Empress watched. The Empress. Her name was Seraphina Kale, Empress of the Lithari Dominion, ruler of 1,000 worlds. To most, she was myth untouchable, terrible, radiant. Her fleets enforced order with fire, her will bent nations like grass. But she was also a mother. And the girl Jonas had helped was her only child. For years, Seraphina had kept Lyra hidden from the galaxy's dangers, veiled behind guards, walls, and shadows. Yet the child had slipped away, as children often do. She had wandered among common stars, disguised, free for a brief moment. And in that moment, her android guardian had fallen. The Empress had prepared to intervene instantly. But then she saw the mechanic. She saw the gentleness in his hands, the patience in his eyes. She saw no fear, no hunger for gain, only quiet compassion. So she waited and watched. The warning. When Lyra returned to the palace the next day, escorted by invisible guards who had shadowed her every step, Seraphina called her close. Where did you go, child? Lyra fidgeted. To the station. My friend was broken. But a man fixed her. A mechanic. He was kind. Seraphina's gaze softened, though her heart twisted. And what did this man want in return? Nothing, Lyra said quickly. He just wanted to help. The Empress was silent a long moment. Few in the galaxy did anything without reason. Fewer still showed kindness without debt. Yet she had seen the truth with her own eyes. Perhaps this Jonas Valen was different. Still, kindness was dangerous. To touch the life of an Empress's child was to invite the storm. The ending. Jonas thought nothing more of it. A job was a job. Yet over the next weeks, odd things began to happen. Supplies appeared at his door, rare alloys, advanced tools, energy cells he could never afford. His workshop ran smoother than it ever had. He told himself it was luck. He told himself not to question it. Until one night, the stars themselves seemed to dim. A ship descended over Drelis, 9, vast as a mountain, veiled in gold and fire. The entire station froze, trembling as the Empress of 1,000 stars herself set foot upon rusted ground. Jonas staggered from his workshop, blinded by the radiance of her presence. And there, beside her, stood Lyra, smiling, waving at him as if nothing at all was strange. The Empress's eyes fixed on him. They were galaxies unto themselves, endless and burning. You, she said, her voice like thunder and silk. You mended what others declared broken. You gave my daughter her friend again. Jonas swallowed hard, realizing too late who the child had truly been. He dropped to one knee. I didn't know. I was only doing my work. Seraphina stepped closer. And that is why it matters. You acted without expectation, without knowledge of who watched. Such hearts are rarer than stars. She extended her hand, a gesture that could crush or elevate entire worlds. Rise, Jonas Valen. For today, the Empress of 1,000 stars owes you a debt. Jonas rose slowly, bewildered, as Lyra rushed to hug him. In that moment, for the first time in decades, he felt something stronger than weariness. Stronger than the ghosts of war. He felt hope. And somewhere deep within, the Empress smiled, not as a ruler, but as a mother. For even across a galaxy ruled by power, it was a weary mechanic's kindness that shone brightest.